Can I ask your name?
Yeah, of course. My name is Lucy.
Nice to meet you, Lucy.
Nice to meet you.
So you're from
France, from Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're asking people about like their experience in Japan, or like, how Japan is acknowledged and back in your country. But today's topic is about Japanese like alcohol. So I think France is, really famous with food and also with like really good wine, right?
Yeah.
So do you know Japanese sake?
Yes, we know it, but not a lot. We haven't tasted it in Paris.
So is Japanese sake a bit famous back in your country?
Not really. I have to be honest.
We really want to know those real voice. And one more thing is that, recently Japanese whiskey is getting really famous all over the world, and it's really getting expensive. Is Japanese whiskey something famous back in?
Yes, that is really famous.
More than sake.
Yes.
Do you know any like how is it acknowledged, like Japanese whiskey?
It's known as it's a famous. I'm not such a fan of whiskey, so I haven't tasted it. But that expensive in France,
really?
I would say maybe 50 euros or something like that.
Well, it's actually I think it costs about 80 euros because you can't really get it. So I guess it's more cheap back in it.
Yeah, cheaper in France.
Do you know any names of Japanese whiskey?
Oh,
Or really hard?
no.
Like famous ones are like Yamazaki, Hibiki.
Okay.
Those are okay. So like Japanese whiskey, it has a pretty long history, but at the same time, I think wine back in your country also has a really long history, right?
Yeah.
So do you know historical aspects about Japanese
whiskey
or
No, not at all.
I guess there's a lot of wine, right?
Yeah.
What other kind of alcohol? But I think in my aspect, I think wine is the most famous in France, especially, right?
Yeah.
So is there a reason why wine is like the most, famous thing in France?
Why? Because it's in our blood. I would say that everyone is drinking wine, and we have a lot of region. Bourgogne, Bordeaux, and basically this is in our roots to the wine. That's why it's so famous.
Do you also make other kind of alcohol?
Champagne from Reims. It's also in France.
If you go to restaurants or like make yourself food, like what are the difference when you choose wine or champagne to drink?
Champagne is for celebration, so you begin with like an appetizer. So you drink one glass, and after you have wine. It's just like you cheers, like, hey, we are happy to be together, or you have a celebration like a birthday or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how strong are you in alcohol? Is it like, could you drink, how much like glasses of wine could you drink?
At the maximum 6. Yeah, it's a high.
Is that something same for other people in France?
Yes, I would say it's pretty, even for women, it's pretty strong to have 6 glasses.
So 6?
It's a bottle, basically 6.
Okay, so one bottle is like the maximum you could have things to drink is water. A lot of people go to France. I mean, Paris is a wonderful place. There's a saying that when Japanese people go to Paris, more than water, wine is cheaper.
Really?
Sometimes. So a lot of Japanese people, when they go to Paris or like Italy, they drink more wine.
Okay.
Is that the same for you?
No.
No, okay.
No.
But water cheaper than wine?
Yeah, water is cheaper than wine, but it depends on the wine that you drink. I mean, we have really cheap wine in France, like for 2 euros a bottle. But for instance, you have water for 0.5 euro a bottle.
Is this true that I thought like wine is so famous back in like Europe? Water wasn't that clean back in really 200 years or 300 years. But when you make wine, the water gets clean. It doesn't have any germs. I thought I learned that that's how wine was made. So like drink safe water. That's why all around Europe, wine is that they have so much long history and why they have so much authenticity and like it's traditional. So is that kind of the same understanding back in France? Not at all.
I didn't know about that.
I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct. Well, thank you so much.
I'm sure.
頑張ったね